welcome to SVGTV News for Tuesday, May 9th, 2017. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. Fresh from his visits to Miami and Trinidad, Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves today updated the media on what he dubbed successful visits, noting that there are several opportunities in the pipeline for SVG. PM Gonsalves said there are indications of much interest to further develop the hotel industry here, which he said will put SVG in a brighter spotlight for greater opportunities. The Minister of Finance said his days ahead will be quite busy, starting tomorrow, as he is expected to engage in talks with several influential persons who have expressed interest in setting up businesses here. Dolisha Miller has more in this report.
With investments, some of them are going to click now, some are not going to click now, some will click a little later, and so on and so forth.
That's the view of Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves speaking on prospective investment opportunities for SVG. Expressing his optimism on the countless investment opportunities in the pipelines at today's media conference, PM Gonsalves said his recent visits to Miami and Trinidad proved to be successful. He said in the coming days he is set to hold talks with foreign investors who are looking to provide some much-needed impetus to the local hotel industry.
Meetings were arranged for me with an investment entity, which we are in touch with, and with 3 name brands. 2 of them, Camilo, I had been in touch with them and had assisted in arranging those meetings. And 2 of those name brands, hotels, representatives are coming between the 15th of May and the end of June. They have to inform us of the specific time. But the discussions are promising.
Seeking to maximize on the operation of the Argyle International Airport, Dr. Gonsalves says that he is expected to meet with the president of the European-based Melia Group tomorrow.
And you can see possibilities if they are here. If they're here, the link between hotels in Cuba and here, multi-destination tourism and all that. Concepts which people have been talking about for years, but which we have the ability now, the potential now, to put it in place because of the presence of the Argyle International Airport.
The Prime Minister also shared his anticipation for the resurrection of the Bukama Bay Resort, which was abruptly closed in 2016 due to mismanagement.
Virgin, the Virgin Atlantic group, that group, they're visiting Bukama today. As you know, Glen Beach had discussions with Virgin and BA, British Airways in London recently. And we are all keen to see Bukama come up back on stream, certainly for the tourist season.
The Minister of Finance, who has been lobbying for local entrepreneurs to take a firmer position in the business relations here, commended them for their efforts thus far.
We have been given approvals to several Vincentians who are expanding their hotels and who are building apartments and the like. And I'm happy to see we are picking up in that regard.
Stating that the AIA has proved to be an avenue that will pave the way for further development for SVG, PM Gonsalves indicated that Vincentians should likewise brace themselves to maximize on the opportunities that will become available. Dolisha Miller, The Evening News.
Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves has refuted claims which stated that the government wants to take over the management agency for courier company Amerijet. At today's media conference, PM Gonsalves rubbished the talks, stating it is quite the contrary, noting, however, that the courier company will be benefiting from an upgraded fleet of aircraft. He explained that as of next month, a fleet of 767 aircraft will commence regular operations at the Argyle International Airport. He added the upgrade became a necessity of the companies due to the harsh weather conditions at Argyle. The courier's first 767 landed earlier today at the AIA.
7 carries, has a capacity of 110,000 pounds of cargo. as against 55,000 with the 727s. But when the 727s were landing in E.T. Joshua, because of the wind factor and the configuration of that airport, that 727 was able only to take 3, maximum 4 pallets. But from the time they started to go to Argyle, there were 11 and 12 pallets, which would be their capacity.
The Minister of Finance, who is also responsible for aviation, is convinced that the operators of Amerijet will benefit greatly financially from their service to AIA.
Remember that earlier on there was talk, all kind of talk about how Ralph wanted to take away agent from Amerijet, from this person to this. I mean, I don't run Amerijet. How could I want to take away agency? And I would always maintain that whoever operates in Amerijet in St. Vincent as an agent would make more money now, because even the existing 727s would be able to land at Argyle with full capacity. And now we're talking about the 767, which is twice the capacity of the 727s.
The Prime Minister further elaborated on the significance of advanced technological equipment at the Argyle International Airport.
And the 767, you need the highly specialized and expensive equipment, the millions of dollars equipment, which the AIA has, which we bought, this government bought as part of the equipping of by IADC for this airport. Very top of the line equipment. I've been advised, everybody who deals with the Amerijet people themselves told me it's top of the line equipment we have.
The launching of the audited accounts of the International Airport Development Company at the Commercial Intellectual Properties Office, CIPO, does not mean that they have been placed in a forum where they can be debated. That's according to Queen's Counsel Panel Campbell, as he spoke on his Law and You program last evening on SVG-TV, discussing the issues surrounding the government's level of accountability in relation to the International Airport Development Company, which was responsible for the construction of the Argyle International Airport. Whilst examining the difference between a statutory corporation and a government company, Campbell stated that though he agrees with an article written by Prime Minister Gonsalves, which stated that the laws of the land have been followed, he however believes that this does not allow for a greater level of debate by the representatives of the people on the matter.
On the one hand, and the accounts of a statutory corporation or a department of government on the other hand. Statutory bodies are required by the statutes which set them up. They are required to have their accounts tabled in Parliament by the minister on the whose portfolio they fall. So those accounts of statutory bodies are liable to be debated in Parliament. Not so companies, and not so government companies. Government companies, like any other company, would be required to file their accounts at SIPO. But SIPO is not a debating chamber where you have the representatives of the people gathered together to debate.
Campbell said currently the Public Accounts Committee has no power to summon documents and public officials, noting that such gaps in the law would have been addressed in the failed proposed constitution reform exercise.
Constitution had been accepted, and if those provisions had become part of our constitutional law, then the Public Accounts Committee, which we proposed should have had a majority of members being opposition members, that committee would have had the right to summon any financial document from the government, including financial documents pertaining to government-owned companies. But the Constitution was rejected, so we are left back to the situation where There is a Public Accounts Committee, yes, theoretically, but it has no powers because, for one thing, the majority of its members consist of members on the government side, and it has no powers to summon documents and summon public officers before it.
The Queen's Counsel said, though theoretically there is accountability, since the accounts were filed through SIPO, he recommends that the government, when possible, present the fully audited reports in Parliament for debate, which he says will give real accountability.
When the accounts up to 2016 have been audited, those accounts, in addition to being lodged at SIPO in accordance with the Companies Act, ought to be lodged in Parliament, not because there is a law saying that they ought to be lodged in Parliament, but because the dictates of political accountability require such a step, and that is my proposal. Now, it will take some time before those accounts are fully audited. So when one isn't talking about something that happened in the next few months. But eventually, these accounts ought to be taken to Parliament by the Prime Minister, lodged in Parliament for debate by the members of Parliament. That would be real accountability.
The Accreditation Unit and the National Accreditation Board will host a ceremony on Thursday to register 2 religious colleges here. The ceremony will take place at the campus of the Baptist Bible College of the Caribbean, Prospect, from 4:30 p.m. The feature address is expected to be delivered by educator at the Division of Teacher Education at the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Community College, Dr. Godwin James. The religious colleges to be registered here are the Baptist Bible College, located at Prospect, and Mints St. Vincent, formerly known as the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Theological Education, located in Arnesville. With approval granted through the Price and Distribution of Goods Act, Chapter 161, effective tomorrow, Wednesday, May 10th, Vincentians can expect to experience a change in the retail price of liquefied petroleum gas LPG cylinders. The retail prices are set to reflect the average spot prices in the months of December 2016, January 2017, and February 2017. As such, the subsequent price change will reflect average spot prices in months after February 2017. SVGTV's Nikita Tony explains more on the changes in this report.
Vincentians will experience a change in the retail prices of liquefied petroleum gas LPG as of tomorrow, Wednesday, May 10th, which the authorities say stands in accordance of powers conferred by the Price and Distribution of Goods Act, Chapter 161. The price change will differ for communities stipulated by Areas 1, 2, 3, and 4. Area 1 includes Kingstown to Camden Park and Kingstown to Arnesville. Area 2 beyond Camden Park to Curtains and Villa to Lanley Park. Area 3 beyond Lanley Park to Fancy and beyond Curtains to Richmond. And Area 4 the Grenadines. The maximum retail prices for LPG cylinders as of May 10th are as follows. 100-pound cylinders stand at $178.10 in Areas 1, 2, and 3, while in Area 4 it will cost $199.10. The 95-pound Petro-Carib cylinder will go at $145 in Areas 1, 2, and 3, and $166 in Area 4. 25-pound cylinders will now cost $44.50 in Area 1, $45.50 in Area 2, $46.50 in Area 3, and $49.50 in Area 4. The 22-pound Petro-Carib cylinder stands at $33.50 in Area 1, $34.50 in Area 2, $35.50 in Area 3, and $38.50 in Area 4, while the 20-pound LPG cylinder will cost $36.60 in Area 1, $37.60 in Area 2, $38.60 in Area 3, and $41.60 in Area 4. Persons are asked to note that under the Price and Distribution of Goods Act, Chapter 161, no person shall sell, buy, or agree to sell or buy any goods at a price greater than the maximum fixed price of that good. Any person who contravenes this provision is guilty of an offense and liable to a fine of not less than $1,500, but not more than $3,000, but not more than $15,000. Also under this act, sellers are obligated to provide to customers, once requested, a receipt or delivery slip showing the date of sale, quantity, and type, such as 20 pound or 22 pound of LPG cylinder sold and the price charged. Any person who contravenes or fails to comply with this provision, according to the authorities, is guilty of an offense. Nikita Tony reporting for SVG-TV News.
The Fisheries Division, Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries and Rural Transformation is reminding the general public that the lobster season is currently closed. Persons are reminded during the closed season from 1st May to 31st August 2017 they cannot have any lobsters in their possession. The Fisheries Division is also reminding hotels and restaurants that they have a grace period of the first 30 days of the beginning of the closed season of lobster, which is from 1st May to May 30th, to get rid of any lobsters that they may have in stock. The division states that if persons fail to adhere to the regulations, they can be fined up to 5,000 EC dollars. The general public is also strongly advised to desist from buying or selling of lobster, skunk, and fish on the streets for health reasons. Residents of South Rivers and surrounding areas on Monday, May 8th, welcomed the opening of a brand new office building to house the South Rivers branch of the General Employees Cooperative Credit Union, GECO. This follows the amalgamation of the South Rivers Cooperative Credit Union and GECO in 2012. Members of the credit union movement, as well as government officials and residents of the South Rivers community, witnessed the opening of the new facility, which now stands as GECO's 6th branch. It is expected to enhance the services provided by the credit union for residents of the area. Nikita Tony tells us more in this report.
Aimed at improving the lives and livelihood of residents in South Rivers and other surrounding areas, the General Employees Cooperative Credit Union, GECO Limited, on Monday, May 8th, opened its office location in South Rivers. Costing some $1.4 million to construct, the opening of a new branch, according to GECO's Chief Executive Officer Lennox Bowman, is an exciting moment for the credit union movement here in SVG. He also expressed gratitude to all involved stakeholders and members who continue to support and empower GECO.
Arms extended to us by the Board of Directors of the South Rivers Cooperative Credit Union, whom we dearly thank for choosing GECO as their amalgamation preferred credit union. Friendship and support of successive governments over the 60+ years of the existence of this movement. Grateful that they continue to see the critical importance of this noble movement. Most of all, I am grateful to our dear members, all 40,000 plus, who have clearly demonstrated their faith not only in each other, but in themselves to manage their own financial affairs and to do so successfully.
Pointing out that the community of South Rivers is no stranger to credit unionism, GECO's president, Kelvin Pompey, said his organization has come to realize that access to financial services stands as a key determinant in alleviating poverty in a society, especially in rural areas.
Cash does not stay around when you have it in hand. GECO is here to ensure that when the hard-working men and women of this community get paid for their produce or services, there is a financial institution just footstep away in which they can save and accumulate money. You will therefore be delighted to hear that GECO is in the process of finalizing arrangements with Western Union to have a branch in this building in the very near future.
Minister with responsibility for cooperative, Frederick Stevenson, commended the work being done by GECO within the country's cooperative sector.
That the children here in South Rivers would be able to save and save more now that GECO is right at their doors. And I want to say to GECO that you have to work with the farmers to ensure that we build the farming communities back here in these rural areas. That is the crux of development for the people, that we have to work with CWSA and Vinlec and some of the telephone companies to ensure that here at the offices here in South Rivers that they can do and provide those kinds of services.
Noting that SVG has the highest credit union penetration rate in the world, Prime Minister and Area Representative Dr. Ralph Gonsalves urged more Vincentians to become members of the credit union movement and take advantage of the benefits available. PM Gonsalves also presented a check to GECU for a payment towards the membership subscription of 12 primary school students who performed at the opening event.
The presence of these credit union offices can do lots of things which are different and work out an arrangement that the people who would like it to happen presumably give their consent in South Rivers and Park Hill and so forth to be paid their public assistance money through the credit union office here. It says GECU $1,500. And at the bottom, the memo for membership for the credit union for 12 students, the 12 of them. So I want them to join them tomorrow.
Nikita Tony reporting for SVG-TV.